Let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced something strange while watching the World Cup? The match is the same match. The ball is the same ball. The rules are the same. But suddenly the atmosphere of the stadium changes. The players change. You change. You don't know exactly what happened, but you realize that something feels different. I experienced this feeling for the first time at the 2006 World Cup. Back then I loved football, but I thought I understood football. Turns out I was only following the ball. Over the years, I watched hundreds of matches. I watched World Cups. I watched finals. I watched heartbreaks. I watched legendary comebacks. And finally I realized that some people are not watching the same match. The same image is on the screen, but they see different things. Today I am going to show you the 5 words that create that difference. Even though these words may look like football terms, they are actually parts of the hidden language of football. Once you learn them, it becomes very hard to watch matches the same way. Let's get started. 1. Momentum. We have all heard this word. Commentators use it all the time. The momentum has changed. The momentum is with the opponent. The momentum is completely in this team's hands. So, what is momentum really? Most people think it is about goals. You score a goal. Momentum comes. You concede a goal. Momentum goes. I thought the same way for years. Then I started watching World Cup matches with different eyes. And I noticed something interesting. Some teams were taking control of the match without even scoring yet. The score was still 0-0. The shot counts were close to each other. The possession rates were similar. But you feel as if one team has started to control the match. How does this happen? Let me give an example. At the 2022 World Cup, some teams changed the entire stadium with just a few successful pressing moves. They did not even win the ball. They just disturbed the opponent. The opposing goalkeeper panicked. The defenders made hurried passes. The stands rose to their feet. The teammates were encouraged. And suddenly everyone started feeling the same thing. That is momentum. Not a statistic. An energy. An emotion. A contagious feeling. The most interesting part is this. Great teams most of the time create the momentum before scoring. The goal is not the cause of momentum. It becomes the result. In the next World Cup match, watch not the goal, but the 2 minutes before the goal. Most likely you will first see the momentum change. Then the goal will come. 2. Space. This word completely changed the way I watch football. A small test for you. A player received the ball. What do? You follow the ball. We all do that. Because our eyes naturally go to the ball. But the place where experienced fans look is most of the time not the ball. It is where the ball is not. When I first heard it, it seemed nonsensical to me too. But then I realized. In modern football, many goals actually start not with a pass, but with space. A player receives the ball. The opposing defense slides toward him. At that exact moment, someone else runs into an empty zone. The pass comes. A goal happens. Then everyone talks about the person who scored the goal. Maybe they talk about the one who assisted. But nobody talks about the player who opened up the space. That player is actually the hidden hero of the goal. Some analysts call this the invisible assist. In my opinion, it is a perfect definition. Because it is truly invisible. But its impact is enormous. Try this in the next match. When a player receives the ball, stop looking at the ball. Look around. Who is running? Who is dragging the defender? Who is creating space? When you notice it for the first time, you will start to see another layer of football. 3. Transition. This was one of the things I did not understand for a long time. For years I wondered this. Why does the team that has more possession sometimes lose? Why does the team that passes twice as much as its opponent sometimes fail to score? Then I found the answer. Because the most valuable moment in football is sometimes not the attack. It is the transition. That is to say, the moment the ball changes hands. Many analysts say the most valuable time in football is the first 5 to 8 seconds after the ball is won. When I first heard it, it seemed like an exaggeration. Then I started paying attention. And it really is like that. Because at that moment, defenses are not ready. Positions are disrupted. Players have not been able to return to their places. The pitch turns into chaos for a brief moment. And the team that makes the right decision within the chaos gains a huge advantage. Many of the goals we see at the World Cup are born within this window of just a few seconds. That is why experienced fans do not only watch the attacks. They watch the moments when the ball is won. Because the fate of football is most of the time written there. 4. Angle. Now let's talk about goalkeepers. Because for years I watched goalkeepers the wrong way. When I saw a save, I would think like this. What a reflex. What a reaction. Then I realized that most great saves begin before the ball even arrives. The goalkeeper is not just waiting. He is constantly moving. He is constantly taking up positions. He is constantly calculating. From which angle can the opponent shoot? Where can he run? Which part of the goal is open? The goalkeeper sliding a few steps to the right or left sometimes makes up half of the save. That is why some saves look easy. They are actually not easy. The goalkeeper has already solved the job in advance. Great goalkeepers are not people who make miraculous saves. They are people who do not need a miracle. Because they have closed the right angle, the ball already comes toward them. In the next match, watch only the goalkeeper. Not the ball. The goalkeeper. Whether a goal happens or not, you will see him constantly moving. And most likely your respect for goalkeepers will increase. 5. Risk. In my opinion, the most misunderstood word in football. Because people confuse mistakes with risk. Think of the example of Kevin De Bruyne. One of the best passers in the world. But in some matches his pass percentage can come out lower than expected. How so? Because he does not choose the easy passes. Passing to the safe side is easy. The success rate is high. But it does not change the game. A risky pass is different. If it gets through, it can become a goal. If it does not get through, it looks like a mistake. This is exactly the point that most fans miss. Some failed passes are actually not bad decisions. They are the failed execution of the right idea. Great players sometimes attempt the passes that will change the game. Because ordinary solutions produce ordinary results. That is why experienced fans do not criticize every failed pass. They look at the thinking behind the pass. And at this point, football stops being just a sport. It turns into a game of decision-making. Now let's look back. Momentum. Space. Transition. Angle. Risk. Just 5 words. But these 5 words can allow you to see hundreds of matches differently. In the next World Cup match, do not try to think about all of them at the same time. Choose one of them. Just one. Focus only on that one for 90 minutes. Then try the next one. And little by little you will notice. Actually, football has not changed. What has changed is you. Before you were watching the ball. Now you are seeing the game. Before you were watching the result. Now you are seeing the reason. And perhaps this is the most beautiful side of football. Millions of people can watch the same match. But not everyone sees the same thing. See you in the next video. Goodbye for now.